the top 3 coaching cues that I use when coaching myself or other people. Coach Barrick here, Equity Podcast, giving you the tools to be fit for life. First one, hop right into it, is to breathe. We see this a bunch of different ways, but the first one is when people are holding their breath doing a movement. So, we have sets of pull ups, and for the entire set of pull ups, they're holding their breath. And then when they get done, they're breathing heavy and can't control their breathing. We need to learn how to breathe throughout that movement, throughout that set, right? Being able to breathe at the top and the bottom of the movement. And that is a skill. It takes time to learn how to do that and be able to focus on your breathing and not have to focus on the 100 other things that you need to focus on when doing your pull-ups or whatever movement you're doing. So, and we want that breath so we can keep tension. We'll get a little bit more about the tension later. So it's not necessarily a bad thing to hold your breath in certain circumstances, but if we're doing a workout where we're trying to do as much work as possible and you're doing bigger sets with lighter weight, you need to be able to breathe throughout those sets so you don't gas out later on in the workout or right after that set. We need to be able to breathe and have tension, right? We need to be able to do both, right? So if I told you, hey, I'm going to punch you in the stomach, you're going to brace your midline. And you can obviously tell my voice changed because I was bracing my midline, but I'm still talking. I can still breathe. I can do both. Is that going to be the max tension I can create? No. However, if I'm doing pull-ups, I need to be able to have a little bit of that tension to create power, to stay safe, to keep my spine in a good position. But I still need to be able to breathe as well. I need to be able to do both. Like I just mentioned with the spine, like being able to hold that tension, being able to breathe is also going to be good. It's going to help us stay safe. It's going to help us keep our spine in a good position, keep our shoulders, our joints in general in good positions. So we still need to be able to keep that tension, but breathe while we're doing it. When we breathe, we can do more fitness, right? We can do more when we can make sure we're breathing the whole time. Imagine if you're running a mile run, but you only took a breath every 20 seconds, every 10 seconds. Like, you're probably not going to do your best. Whereas if you can keep a cadence with your breath while doing that 1 mile, you're probably going to do much better. So you're going to be able to do more work in less time. And then we'll get a little bit more into this in my third cue, but we need to be able to learn how to breathe and how to breathe into our belly, right? It's not just breathing throughout, but that is the cue that I use the most, is making sure that we're breathing throughout the movement. But sometimes I have to cue breath to make sure you take a bigger breath as well. Like, take that big belly breath to really create tension. And we want that tension for that high skill or that high load movement. We want to take that breath in and hold it, right? So if I'm doing a pull up for the very first time, yeah, I'm probably going to hold my breath that entire that entire set, that entire rep. But if I'm doing a set of 5, I want to breathe throughout that. Now, if I'm doing a set of 5 back squats, right, I'm going to breathe for each rep, but I'm going to hold my breath during each rep. If I'm doing a 1 rep, if I'm doing a really, really heavy clean, I'm going to hold my breath for that rep. If I'm doing a advanced gymnastic movement that I've never done before, or that is still really hard, I'm going to take a big breath and hold my breath during that, and then I'll breathe after. So those high skill, high load movements, we don't necessarily want to be breathing the entire time, but we still need to be mindful of our breath and how we're taking it and where is it going. Are we taking that big belly breath and bracing, or are we just taking that shallow breath? So breathe, breathing mechanics. The next one is to slow the fuck down. We have this idea of what, and we talked a little bit about this last week actually, We have this idea of what CrossFit is, and it's just as fast as possible. That's the goal, and that's not the goal. Sometimes it is, but not all the time. Most of the time, we're practicing and we're training. The goal isn't to go as fast as possible. The goal is to move really, really well, to hit a particular goal and stimulus in the workout, and then push that as fast as I can go while keeping that goal. So, for example, if I start cleaning very poorly, if my only goal is to go as fast as possible, I'm just going to keep cleaning, even though it's really bad technique and really bad form. However, if the goal is, hey, I need to make sure that my cleans stay good, I need to make sure I keep my good back position, I'm going to slow down so that I can keep that good technique, but I'm going to go as fast as I can go while keeping that good technique. And people inflict, it doesn't matter what you're doing. If you go too fast on a dirt bike race at an intensity that you can't handle, you go too fast for what you're capable of, you're going to get hurt. But if you start slow and build it up over time, you'll be able to go faster and faster and faster. It's the same thing in fitness. But everybody thinks, oh, I'm in the gym and around other people, I have to go as fast as possible. No, slow the fuck down. It's going to help. It's going to help you do this thing longer, right? When we slow down, there's less chance of injury. When we have change of direction, that is generally when injury happens, or we have changing of positions. We'll get a little bit more into that as well. Going too fast leads to injury, just like with the bike. If I'm biking faster than I'm comfortable going, I'm probably going to hurt myself. Now, if I go a little bit faster outside my comfort zone, that's fine. But if I go way over the top, that's when bad things happen. We want to focus on mechanics, consistency, then intensity. Move well, move well consistently, then increase the intensity. Again, with the metaphor with the bike, if I am, I want to get into dirt bike racing, I'm not just going to jump into a race and just full throttle the entire time. I'm going to start with a practice. I'm just going to get comfortable with it. I'm going to go. Then I'm going to go a little bit faster. Oh, all right, I had this little thing, so I need to stay at that pace for a little bit to make sure that I learn this weird thing about dirt bike racing that I have no idea about. For me, I did this with road bike when I did a triathlon in 2017, I think it was. I remember going down the hill on Blue Ball Road for the first time. I rode the brakes the entire way down because I didn't have the mechanics or consistency to increase that intensity on the bike. I wasn't comfortable on the bike. Like I felt like I was just shaking and going all over the place. And if I would have went really fast and was doing that, the wheel turns and I flip over, like I was very uncomfortable. And I should have been because I had never done it before. And then I went on a couple more bike rides. And the next time I went down that thing full throttle, and I was biking, I was pedaling down that hill. Mechanics, consistency, then intensity. When we slow down, we can build strength, right? When we're doing deadlifts, controlling the descent on the way down is going to help us build more strength. When we're doing strict pull-ups, we control that eccentric on the way down. It's going to help us build more strength. When we slow down, we can build more strength, and it's going to build strength in our joints. It's going to help the joints be healthier. We want to be strong. We want to be healthy. We want to be stable, and slowing down can do that. That doesn't mean we're going as slow as possible, but we're just slowing down. Sometimes we do want to go as slow as possible, just like sometimes we want to go as fast as possible. And slowing down helps us build technique as well. When we try and go too fast, we're not building good positions. We're not building good technique. When we slow down, we can think about what we're doing. We can feel what are my feet doing when I'm doing this clean? Am I rocking? Am I going to my toes? Am I coming to my heels? Am I in a rush to get out of the catch position because it's super uncomfortable? Versus catching in that clean, catching in that position and holding it. And I know it's uncomfortable and it hurts. But if I work in that position longer, if I slow down, feel comfortable in that position. Now, when I go heavier, when I go faster, I'm going to be more comfortable in that position and I'm going to be more efficient. So slow down. The last one is tension, and this is kind of related to the, the the breath. Is understanding tension, understanding how to engage muscles when we want to do them. So, for example, when we deadlift, most people understand we want a flat back, but how do we do that? Right? How do you set your back? Can you be aware of what your back is doing as you're deadlifting? Can you turn on your hamstrings and your glutes? Can you turn on your shoulder girdle to make sure that you're tense? If we don't have tension in our shoulder girdle, we're going to start rounding our back in that deadlift. And if the upper back rounds, the lower back will round eventually as well. So we need to understand how to get tension over time. So in pull-ups, in in cleans, in snatches, and deadlifts, and pretty much anything, we need to understand how to get tension in different parts of the body. When we do that, it helps prevent injury because like I said before, injury comes with change of position. So from a bench going from down to up, if we go too fast in that and we're overloaded, that's when something weird can happen in the shoulder, the bicep, or in the pec. When I'm deadlifting and I'm pulling that up and my back goes from flat to rounded to straight again, that's when bad things can happen in the deadlift. We don't want that to happen. Tension is going to help us build strength and power as well. That is how we create that. If we're loosey goosey, if we're all over the place, it's going to be hard to create that strength and power. So these are the three. If you're in your garage, if you're in the basement, if you're in a group class, if you're doing some extra work on the side, and it doesn't matter where you're working out, these three cues can be super helpful. Breathe, slow down, and find tension. Those three are going to be really, really important for the longevity, to keep you safe, to get the most bang for your buck, to be efficient, and to be effective. If you think this might help somebody else, please share it with them. If it helped you out, please like, subscribe, all those fun things. Our goal is to have more happy, healthy people in the world. So if you think this might help you or somebody else, please share it. Thanks for adding another tool to your toolbox. Cheers.